Welcome, welcome, welcome. Go ahead and share this video. We're going to get started in a few minutes. We're going to get started in a few minutes. Welcome, Kenyatta. Welcome. Hopefully I pronounced your name correctly, Kenyatta. We'll get started in a few minutes. What's going on, J Hood? We're going to get started in a few minutes. Share this video. Going to get started in a few minutes. What's going on, Monique? Working hard. How are you? Doing the same thing, J Hood. Working on some things. So today we're briefly going to go over the main types of crowdfunding. So we're going to briefly talk about the different types of crowdfunding that's out there that we're pretty much going to offer on our platform. What's going on, D-Boy? Let me see if I could add. One more minute, we're going to get started. One more minute, we're going to get started. Make sure you share this video. If you haven't joined our Facebook group, make sure you join Crowd Wall Street group. J Hood, I'm going to get you on here too one of these Wednesday nights. I'll let you know what night that is for our Crowd Wall Street entrepreneur. D-Boy, you too. All right, so it's 3:05. Gonna get started. For those of you that's this your first time on one of our live trainings, Crowd Wall Street is a crowdfunding platform. We specifically target minorities and Black founders, and what we do is help educate and also help founders and entrepreneurs raise capital for their platform. The word Crowd Wall Street is by design. One of our advantages on our platform is we able to offer different asset building opportunities for not only investors but entrepreneurs to create wealth. So for those who don't know about crowdfunding, we have a couple of videos inside this group that we talk a little bit more about crowdfunding. Each and every Sunday we will be doing training, because a lot of people still not really understanding how crowdfunding works and how it can benefit not only business owners and entrepreneurs but also investors. So today we're pretty much going to be talking about the different types of crowdfunding platforms. And Crowd Wall Street, pretty much, we're going to have a variety of opportunities for individuals to get on our platform to raise capital. We're going to be offering real estate. We're going to be offering small businesses equity, profit sharing. We're thinking about offering debt. We don't know yet, but we are considering that. Let me get my partner on. Jamsky, you on?
What's going on, man? Oh,
What's going on, man?
I gotta get in the laptop, man. I got to Dell. Yeah.
Now, I'll be pretty much going to overview pretty much what Crowd Wall Street is all about,
Okay.
what we're establishing, what we're doing. So for those who just chiming in, every Sunday we'll be getting on live inside the group, and we'll be doing training. And again, like I was saying, a lot of people are still unfamiliar with crowdfunding and the process and how it works. So every Sunday we're going to be dropping some jewels and some knowledge on understanding crowdfunding, the things that we have planned for the future with our crowdfunding base. Also, every Wednesday night at 7:00, we have what's called Crowd Wall Street Entrepreneurs, where we interview entrepreneurs, where they talk about their journey, talk about their process, and just be real. A lot of times people see, the success stories of entrepreneurs, with the houses, cars, money, things of that nature, doing big things. But a lot of them don't really understand the backstory or the process on how they got from point A to point B. Hood Estates, definitely going to get you on board too on one of these Wednesday nights. And we're going to link up on some more stuff as well. So today we're going to be talking about the different types of crowdfunding offerings. And each one we can go into deep detail, but that's going to be on future training. Right now, we just want to open up your mind and let you know the opportunities that's out there. So give me a minute. Let me see if I can share my screen real quick.
How can I see the chat while you doing that? I'm trying to access the chat.
This here is, I don't know how you do it on here. Like I can see it, but like Facebook, for some reason, they privacy thing, it doesn't show me who. So I look it on my phone.
Okay. All right, cool.
So I go to the chat on my phone. Let me see if I can share my screen. Opportunities that's out there.
Okay, J Hud. Okay.
All right. Boom. You can see it?
Okay. Yeah.
So let me see this real quick. I think so. All right, it's my first time doing the share screen on this one. Last time I did it, I didn't even show the PowerPoint.
I think you had it up there though.
Yeah, but I don't think they'll be able to hear me.
Oh, okay.
Let me see something.
Yeah, try it again and say something. Nah. Yeah, I don't hear you.
Yeah. So let me
Females just do it like that. Oh, we can hear. I said they can hear though. Somebody said they can hear on Facebook. Yeah, it don't show who the person is. It just says Facebook user.
Yeah,
but it can hear. So let me see. I'm going there. Log on through Facebook. So we saying like once he put the when he puts the PowerPoint up on the main screen, are you guys still able to hear us?
Yeah, let me see.
So I guess they can hear you. I can't hear you, but they can hear you, I guess. We can hear. Yeah, they can hear though. They might say they can hear on Facebook. Yeah, it don't show who the person is. It just says Facebook user. No, we can't hear with PowerPoint. Okay, so when the PowerPoint's up, they can't, but when it's down, okay. Like once you put the so probably just do it. If you could do it like this, then you should be straight.
Yeah, I'm gonna run it and then I'm gonna bring you back because you're still gonna be on here, but just be muted.
Okay. Yeah.
Just give me a sitting if you want to jump in so I could just bring you in.
All right. Cool. So
Ah,
they can hear you.
I
Can't
got
hear
it.
you, but they can hear you, I guess.
I got it. Boom. There it is. I got it. I got it.
Yes, sir. Yes,
All
sir.
right. Cool.
So we can't hear with PowerPoint.
All right.
So
Here we
when
go.
PowerPoint's up, they
Boom.
can, but when it's down, okay.
All right. You can still hear me, Jansky?
Yeah, your phone might be on echoing. I can hear your phone
Yeah.
echoing.
I just muted it.
Okay. Cool.
All right. Boom. Got it.
Haha.
All right, so here it is real quick. Types of crowdfunding. So we're gonna be talking about the three main crowdfunding offerings that this crowdfunding industry offers to, to everybody, but for us, we specifically targeting minorities and black founders and black investors. Well, all investors. We want all the money, but mainly black founders and black entrepreneurs. So when we're talking about financing, companies primarily have two types of financing as an option, whether it's debt or equity. So either or, debt or equity. Um, so here it is. It's messed up, but we'll be all right. So debt and equity. So when we're talking about debt, which many of us are familiar with, you're talking about borrowed money, you're talking about rate repayment obligation, and then you talk about no control. Now remember, when we have these trainings and when we have these conversations about equity, debt, raising capital, we're not just talking about the traditional way. We're not just talking about, hey, start a business and then you go into a bank to get a loan and you start your business. What we're talking about is raising capital for your startup. So with that being said, crowdfunding is an avenue for black, founders and entrepreneurs to raise capital for their business. So it could be in the form of debt or it could be a form of equity. So obviously the difference between the two, like I was saying, is debt is pretty much borrowed money, which have to be paid back through obligation. So if you borrow money through debt, whether your business does good or not, you still have that obligation to repay whatever that is that you borrow. The no control meaning if you're raising capital for your business and you borrow money from a bank, they don't really have control over your business as when I mean control as telling you what to do and how to do in your business operations. So now you're talking about equity. If you raise capital through equity, you have to give up some percentage of ownership. Now, if you was here at the last training last week, I was talking about the different phases of raising capital from pre-seed, seed to Series A, all the way to a company going public. So when you go up that pyramid, there's always going to be a percentage of equity that comes out of your company that you're willing to give up. Also with equity, there's no repayment obligation, meaning these investors who invest in your company, if your business fail, they understand the risk that they're taking. So they're not going to be hounding you like the banks and saying, hey, we still need our money back. With the equity portion, as you take a loss, the investors take a loss. Also, when you're issuing equity for your company, you're giving up some type of control because you're giving up some type of ownership. So it based on the percentage that you give up of your company, it really dictates the control that these investors have. And last training, I was telling you the difference between passive and active investors. So with the passive investors, they won't really take that much control of your company, and they may take a small percentage of your ownership because a passive investor really take the back seat. They really trust you as an entrepreneur. They trust your team management. They trust you carrying out whatever the strategy that is that you borrow the money for. But when you're talking about an active investor pretty much will require maybe more percent ownership of your company, which will require them to get more control because they may have the expertise, they may have the resources, and they may not trust you enough for you to take the steering wheel to drive or to scale this company. So that's pretty much the difference between debt and equity. One is giving up ownership, the other one is you just really borrowing money. And ultimately, they both share the same thing, the ROI. They both want a return on their investment. So when you're talking about raising capital, these are the four types of crowdfunding. I know I said three, but I forgot I have four. So we're talking about four different types of crowdfunding. The first one is debt crowdfunding, which is the crowd lending money. And pretty much it's the same way, but the difference is instead of you going to the bank to borrow money, now you have an opportunity to go to investors to do the same exact thing, but at a lower interest rate and not so much of a hard restriction. So if you go to the bank, you may have to provide financial statements. You may have to have, a 700 plus credit score. You may have to be in business for quite some time to get a loan from the bank versus the crowd. And they may be a little lenient where now instead of you borrowing, $100,000 from the bank, you can spread that $100,000 across different investors at a particular interest. Then you have what's called rewards crowdfunding. With rewards, there's no financial rewards, meaning if you're raising capital far as reward base, you're not giving up no equity at all. No equity, no interest, anything like that. So what you're doing is you're giving up some type of goods or services for the contribution of the investors or what we call backers. And the equity crowdfunding, obviously you're selling a percentage of ownership. And it's similar to like buying stock. Then last but not least, you have profit revenue sharing, where you share future profits of revenues. The profit revenue sharing on crowdfunding is not really talked about that much because there's not that many crowdfunding platforms that's out there that's offering that. We will in the near future. So why debt crowdfunding? This allows groups of individuals to lend funds to businesses in return for the principal plus interest payments. So for businesses, businesses benefit from this type of funding because they can avoid giving away equity. When you're raising the capital in this arena, especially in the early stages, most entrepreneurs or most founders do not want to give up equity too early. So the alternative of that is either A, you actually come out your pocket or use your personal savings, a personal credit card or business card to help fund your business, or you end up taking out some type of debt, which can be from a bank. It can also be from an investor or friends and family. That way, in the beginning stages, you're not giving up that much equity. How does this benefit investors? Investors can lend smaller amounts to many different businesses. This helps spread the risk. So just think about a bank, for example. A bank just don't lend to one company. A bank lends to several different companies. And throughout all several different companies, they're spreading their risk with the chances of knowing that maybe, out of 5 companies that they lend money to, maybe 1 or 2 companies, may default, may go bankrupt. But the other 3 companies, may be profitable where they get a return on their equity. So it's the same thing with investors. With crowdfunding, you can invest as little as $100 to $1,000, and you can possibly spread that money across, 5 to 10 to 15 companies where you're spreading your risk. And now you're getting return on your investment from 5, 10 to 15 different companies. So when you're talking about debt crowdfunding, you have multiple loan types. You have monthly payments, you have interest only, you have balloon payments, and you have single payments. Now you're talking about rewards crowdfunding. For businesses, it avoids giving away equity and repayment obligation. So businesses, doing rewards based, you don't have to give away equity, and you don't have to worry about if your business doesn't successfully raise capital or is not successful and your business fail. You don't have to worry about, repaying, any investors or banks. You just call it quits, you call it loss, and that's that. So far as investors, you benefit from rewards crowdfunding due to getting pre-order discounts, and you can adopt new products ahead of masses. So the way I look at this is, picture this. Picture Apple before Apple became Apple, and Apple was creating their new Apple phone. So if Apple needed to raise capital to produce its Apple phone, and they come on crowdfunding, as investors, we'll be their early backers. So because we was able to back these companies up or back Apple up early, we will have the benefit to get the pre-orders of the Apple phone. So when they launched the Apple phone, only those who had contributed to Apple at the early stages will have the opportunity to have access to why everybody else have to wait before it go on the market. So that's the beauty of, investing in early startups at the reward base. We may not get equity ownership, or we may not get a return on investment when it comes to interest payments and getting our principal back, but we able to get a pre-order discounts. We get to get products at its earliest stages, where the masses have to wait until the actual development or the product actually go to market. The next is equity crowdfunding. So businesses, they benefit from this type of funding because they can avoid debt obligation. Like I was explaining to you before, when you get equity in a company or give away equity in your company, the investors are already factoring in the risk factor that they may not see their money back. And worst case scenario, if your business fail, you don't have to worry about paying back the investors because they're going to count it as a loss. Versus a bank, if your business fail, guess what? You still have to pay that debt back. How does this benefit investors? So investors have the opportunity to invest like accredited investors and participate in early stage companies with high reward and equally high risk. So we always use this example. Just imagine investing in Facebook, Uber, Tesla, and Shopify, all these companies that went public. Just imagine you had the opportunity to have a piece of ownership in these companies before they went public. That's what it means by accredited investors, because before the Jobs Act passed, way back when, the average investor didn't have the opportunity to invest in these companies. Only accredited investors and wealthy individuals, meaning those individuals who making over $200,000 a year, $300,000 a year if they're married, and have over $1 million network. This is not including their residential housing. So with the Jobs Act, we have the opportunity to invest in the next unicorn company, the next Facebook, the next Uber, the next Tesla, right here because of crowdfunding. So multiple equity types, which we're going to do a lot of training on this so you guys can get to understand the terminology of crowdfunding, especially when it comes to term sheets. So you have safes, you have KISS, and you have convertible notes. And these are basically terms of the deals that once you get equity in these companies will offer one of these three securities, which again, we'll go over in more details and go over a term sheet so you guys can understand what that means. Then you have profit revenue sharing. So this allows a company to repay investors a multiple of their investment set at a percentage of future revenues. So with businesses, this helps reduce financial stress by having flexible repayments based on financial performance. So what this means, if a company is raising capital and they decide to pay you back with profit or revenue share, with flexible payments is basically saying, hey, if we're making, good profits, you're going to get your money back faster. But if we're making low profits, the money's not coming in as large as it should, you're not going to get as much. So let's just say the interest that this company was giving you was 5%. So if the company is bringing in $200,000 a year, you'll get 5% of that $200,000. But if the company is bringing in $25,000 a year, you still would get 5%, but it'll be lower than if you was going to get it at the $200,000 mark. So this actually, for investors, it provides a higher net present value and a lower probability of bankruptcy for your business. Basically, when you're talking about traditional bank lending, if you borrow $100,000, you're going to have a fixed interest rate, whether your business is bringing in, $100,000 or is bringing in $25,000. The bank pretty much don't care. You have a fixed principal, you have a fixed interest. If your monthly payment is $1,000, whether your business is doing good or not, you're gonna have to pay that $1,000. With profit and revenue sharing, there's no fixed principal amount. It's really based on the revenue that your company brings in, and that's the beauty of profit sharing, revenue sharing. So again, we're gonna get into Q&A. I just briefly wanted to go over that, but if you haven't already, follow us on Facebook, Crowd Wall Street. Follow us on Instagram at Crowd Wall Street. And we also have a YouTube channel where I will be uploading this video as well. And if you missed previous training and if you haven't seen none of our Crowd Wall Street Entrepreneurs Live, where we interview entrepreneurs. You can find that on our YouTube channel as well. Also, if you are an entrepreneur or you looking to start investing in startups, go ahead and create a free account on our website at www.crowdwallstreet.com. It's completely free. We also have Crowd Wall Street University, where you can actually learn a little bit more about crowdfunding. You can learn as an investor, you can learn as an entrepreneur. And stay tuned, we are coming out with Crowd Wall Street 2.0. So if you have any questions now, shoot them in the chat. We'll be talking a little bit more and getting some more details about this. We good?
Yeah, we want to know what y'all think about the presentation, man. Get some feedback. Let's see. I know a lot of people watching these games that's going
I
on.
know. I thought about that today. I was like, yeah, I forgot
Man,
football season started back.
we compete with NFL Sunday, so
Can't do it.
can't do. Yeah, competing with NFL Sunday. But I think those are some great points, great topics you touched up on or whatnot, especially informing the people. I think the more information we're able to provide everybody, the more I guess everything will start to register, and they'll see the importance of crowdfunding and how it can be leveraged.
Right.
Let's see. So, for you, TL, out of those four that you briefly spoke on, which one do you think? Well, which one is your favorite, and why? Like, as far as like how would it benefit the company? Which one of those four methods of crowdfunding? Which one is your favorite, and why? Why would you choose the one you're about to choose?
I think for the most part, it depends on strategy.
Uh,
But if I had to choose, I would have to go with the equity.
okay.
Reason being, for the most part, there is a cap to how much you can make with equity, but then again, there's no cap how much you can make to equity. With debt, you already know it. Like with equity, there's not a defined ROI. You just know you may get 2x, 3x
Right.
return on your equity, but you don't know what that number may be.
You
It
don't
could
know.
be a low number or it could be a high number. When you're talking about debt,
Mhm.
you know exactly you get your money back, number one,
Right.
plus what the interest is. So if I'm investing $1,000 and I'm, getting a return 1.5, on my money, I
Uh,
know for a fact at the end of 2-3 years, I'm
uh,
getting that 1,500.
uh,
But that's the cap. That's all I know I'm getting back. With equity,
it's limitless, right?
it's
It's like,
limitless. Like it really based on what the startup can do. Because if you're talking about a startup selling at a 4 multiple or 5 multiple,
oh my God.
I'm getting back 10 times my money.
Yeah.
So that's why I would prefer equity. But again, it all depends on the strategy, because anything can happen. Um,
Sounds like a great platform for us, the small businesses trying to start up. Yeah, most definitely. And as me and TL was just speaking on too, this isn't something that a lot of our people, being minorities, as well as small businesses, that we're familiar with. If you think of some of the methods that we use to come up with money, the bank, a lot of times, more times than not, is out the window. You talking about people for the most part who can't get qualified for a car loan at low interest rate, without the interest rate on a car loan being 12, 20, whatever percent. So imagine trying to get a loan for a business. So what we can do is, you guys, if we can have you guys share this information, because like you said, this is, and I got to go on my computer to see who wrote that, but this
that's
is,
Monique.
huh?
Monique.
Hey, so hey Monique, and like you said, this is it's a great platform. However, if it's not out there for the masses to know about, then there's no way for us to take advantage of this. So the more people, the more eyes we can get on this platform, and the more of this knowledge. This is game right here. Like, you don't have to. I mean, we would rather, we would like for you to go out and read about it. But for those who can't, I mean, to be able to come on our Sunday lives and get this live explanation Q&A with us and understand this hands on from people who own the platform. Like, we are the founders and co-founders of this platform, and you just think about, Mark Zuckerberg or whoever, Jeff Bezos. Imagine knowing them at this phase of wherever their companies are at. Like, imagine their company's been at this phase and you've been able to talk to them. The only difference is that we're black. That's it. That's the only thing, that we're black. But just imagine knowing them at this phase and being able to talk to them and ask them these questions, and then you look back like, dang, now I see what they're talking about, and we billionaires or whatnot. So it's like, this platform is very major for the culture, and we're trying to figure out a way to get our people to understand, like, this is another method, this is another way. This is what the elite is doing. I always like to use real life examples. So you think about different people in these industries. I always like to use the industry because that's what we can relate to. Hello from Nashville. What's going on? Shouts out to Nashville. I like to use real life examples, like The Rock. Most recently, we could use The Rock. I don't know how much he bought the XFL for, but let's say the XFL is worth $1 billion. Let's say he got it for $1 billion. The Rock isn't a billionaire, right? So how was he able to come up with the money to buy this team? Well, on average, you get a loan. Like, you can finance these deals. A lot of times they finance these deals. They don't pay cash for these deals. But what they do is, for the down payment of these deals, a lot of times they crowdfund. They get their buddies, and they put their money together, and it's like, okay, well, it's $1 billion, and the down payment is 20% of that $1 billion. So we got to come up with $200 million. Well, now The Rock, he can do that. That's more along his budget or whatnot. So on average, he may come up with 10% of that $200 million, and then he talk to all his wealthy partners, right? So this is the exact same thing, but on a lesser scale. For startup, and this can be used for startups. Crowdfunding can be used for somewhat established businesses. Like, it's a creative way to get to your dreams or whatnot. But
Yeah.
the thing about how we doing it is that if you can't, like, it's insane. Go ahead, T.O. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, no, no. I think that's the most part, because going back to Monique, what she was saying, that it's
Uh,
good for businesses. I think the thing that I'm gonna keep bringing home for people to understand about the benefit of crowdfunding is, um, you're solving two problems
mhm.
that most businesses face when you're running your company.
Okay.
Number one is, a lot of companies fail at marketing or don't know how to market their company, so they're not getting their product and services out to as many people to bring in revenue, right? Number
Yeah.
two, many business owners and entrepreneurs don't have the proper resources or capital to even expand their business or to purchase, more products or buy a building or, things to that nature, right? So those two key things that crowdfunding solves, because number one, when you're raising capital on crowdfunding, you're able to reach a crowd, and this crowd is outside of your circle. So we just seen Jennifer says, hey, she's from Nashville, right? So
Mhm.
now just imagine Jennifer is in Nashville and somebody's in Miami trying to raise capital for their startup. But in most cases, they will only target people in Miami because that's what they're familiar with. That's what they know people with. But
Right.
now they come on Crowd Wall Street. Now you have Jennifer in Nashville to say, "Hey, I like this business. I want to back this company up. I'm going to go ahead and invest in this company." And Jennifer knows that the more people invest in this company, the more successful that company will be, and the more return on equity that Jennifer gets. So what Jennifer's going to do? She's going to tell her friend, who's going to tell a friend about this thing in Nashville, and now you capture an audience in Nashville. Same thing in different states. So now you're getting the word out there, right? So now what happens is, with the banks, like we discussed this before, when you raise capital at the bank or you get bank financing, the bank is not going to market your company.
Oh man, right. I was about to say, even if you do get approved for the loan by the
The
bank,
bank is not going to, because getting the money is just one part.
yeah,
The
yeah,
bank will say, okay, cool, you have the credentials, you got the credit score. Here's the money. Do what you do, but make sure you pay me back at this amount of time, at this principal, at this interest. Whether you fail or not, I just need my money back, right? With Crowd Wall Street, it's, hey, end of the day, our success is your success. Vice versa. Your success is our success. So we're going to help make sure that we market your business. With your help, we're not going to do all the work, but you're going to market your business too. But the ideal is you're getting not only investors to back your company up, but the possibility of these same investors to become potential customers. So if you got 1,000 people backing your company up that's funding your startup, guess what? Out of those 1,000 people, you may have 700 to 800 customers who really like your product and going to continue to do business with you outside of crowdfunding. And that's the beauty of this thing here.
yeah. And everybody knows somebody, right? So not even just the fact that somebody from Nashville, Tennessee, and Miami, but the fact that out of these multiples of people that's investing in your company, somebody knows somebody that can help jumpstart something, right? Oh, because now that they're invested, they're a part of this. So they want to see you win. You got people that want to see you win that's not even invested in what you're doing, but just on the strength of you may be a great person. Now imagine if that same person is also invested financially into your company. So they're like, wait, hold on. I got a homie over here that's been doing such and such a marketing. Maybe he can help, So every now and then we have these, you have these moments where the founders get to talk to the investors or whatnot, to the audience, where they can you can get to know who you're investing your money with. It's like, imagine investing in Facebook, and you get to meet Mark Zuckerberg once every week or whatever, to hey, I like this, but what if we did this or whatever, just just different ideas or whatnot. But imagine out of these thousands of people that's invested, or you needed a couple of 100,000, and you need 1,000 people to put up $200 a piece or whatever. But these people have ideas too.
Yeah,
they invest in your company because they see the vision, as well as they may have some ideas of what they can, what can be added to that or whatnot. So it's so many pros that come with it, as opposed to just traditional banking. So yeah, you do get approved for a business loan from the bank or a credit union, but now what? Right? Like, you still need help with marketing and all these other things. So now what? As far as with this right here, it comes with, it's a great package. It's like a great bundle,
right.
Win-win. And
yeah,
I don't know, man. It's just getting out people to understand.
That's the whole, and that's why I was explaining to people. Crowd Wall Street, basically, like I just did the presentation earlier. We give you the opportunity as, let's say, for an entrepreneur. You have different opportunities on how you can raise capital on our platform.
Right.
Unfortunately, right now, we only offer rewards based, right? But we do plan on offering equity and profit sharing. So once we get the full-fledged platform out there, you have the ability to choose how you want to raise capital based on your strategy. You can start off at rewards based, where you don't have to give up that much equity. Rewards based is primarily for companies that really trying to test the waters, get their product out there to make sure they have a product market fit. And then, the next stage is, maybe you want to offer equity now. Maybe you want to give up some type of ownership of your company. It could be a small percentage ownership of your company where you don't have to take on debt. So now you could give up some type of equity in return of more funding. And again, these investors may have expertise, knowledge, or resources that they can bring to the table as well, right? Yeah. Maybe, you don't want to give up equity at all. So then you jump into the debt, where now you can just do it as, getting a loan, but instead of going through a strategic, restriction with the banks, you can actually go to the crowd, and the crowd can lend you the money, and you pay the crowd back, with interest, right? So then, if you want to get savvy with it, you can do the profit sharing. So now you have, with profit sharing, you have the flexibility where you're not giving up equity, and you're not obligated to pay a set amount of when you get debt, But now you have the flexibility to say, okay, you know what? With your investment, I'm going to give you, profit sharing. So based on what my company makes, you're going to get, a percentage of that profit. So that gives you the breathing space to not be stressed over, man, I got to pay this monthly, debt back. Like I was explaining earlier, you get a standard, traditional loan, they're going to tell you how much your payment is going to be every month. So if your payment is $5,000 a month and your business got a slow month, you're going to be stressed out because now you're going to be figuring out, man, how I'm going to get this $5,000 to pay the bank, right? So when you're doing profit sharing or revenue sharing, you don't have to stress about that because it's already set up where regardless of whether you have a slow month or a good month, your investor is going to get a percentage of that. So if you're making $100,000 a year, your investor is going to get 5% of that. But if you get $25,000 a year, you had a bad year, it's no big deal. They get a 5% of that as well. Yeah. So from an investor, it really, you can get your money back within 2 years. If the company does good, you get it back within 5 years. But the ideal is you don't want the business that you invested in, you don't want that business to go out of business, right? You don't want that business to go bankrupt. So you as an investor want to be as flexible as you can. So you're willing to take, a cut 1 year while the business get up and going, because eventually, guess what? You're getting that monthly income coming in. So imagine you invested $1,000 over the course of, you spread $1,000 across, 10 to 15 companies. And now every month you're bringing in $100 to $250 a month. You times that by 3 to 4 years, you'll make a good, decent return on your equity. Plus you'll be bringing in passive income. And also it'll give our people the opportunity to think like investors. It'll give our people the opportunity to think like lenders. And now when we're talking about group economics, this is what Crowd Wall Street is all about. It's about group economics, man.
Yeah, and one of the more known forms of crowdfunding is, of course, the equity. And when we speak of equity, I want you to think on the terms of Shark Tank, because that's a show that I know a lot of people watch with Dame Jones and all those guys and whatnot. It works the same way. Now imagine like we're Shark Tank, like we're the company, and whether it's you or whomever come on here and they're what is it called? Not promoting their brand, but they're what is the term called, TL? When somebody pitching, when they're pitching their brand, they're pitching their company or whatnot, and instead of us being investors per se, you guys are the investors. So like on Shark Tank, the founders come on there or whatnot, and Damien, all of them, they're the backers. They're the backers, and they're pitching their idea. Hey, I need $300,000. Why? And now they have to give a great reason as to why I should invest $300,000 into your business. Well, it's the same thing. However, same concept. However, they're pitching on our platform, and we're the in-between. So we're Shark Tank, but in the sense that we're the platform, and you guys get to see what companies you would like or wouldn't like to invest in.
Yep.
And they're trying to win you guys' money. They're trying to campaign to get you guys' money. It's like a president. It's like whoever. Like they're trying to impress you guys. Explain what is it they're doing, where they're trying to take their company. How profitable is this company right now? How much money have they made so far? How much in sales they're doing? Like they have to know their company down to a T to impress you guys and convince you guys why you should invest. Why you should invest $500 towards their $500,000 goal, right? So, and we're gonna also vet them as well.
Yep.
So if somebody come on here and they don't, and you guys can ask questions, so you guys will be able to ask questions, and you would know based off the questions that we're asking, or you guys are asking, if they know what they're talking about, if they know their industry or whatnot. So this is the same thing. So equity is something that you guys may know more of because of Shark Tank, but if you watch that show, this is the same thing that we're providing, but you guys are the investors, and we're providing a platform. That is it. It's really that simple.
It's simple.
More than two ways, but equity is one of more known ways, and that is how it works. Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, come on here, and I use Mark Zuckerberg because everybody uses Facebook. We're on Facebook right now. Mark Zuckerberg, come on here. Hey, Crowd Wall Street. I have a great business plan that I've been doing for the last couple of years, 5 years, right? A startup don't necessarily have to be yesterday, but it could be a couple of years old. But we can build a lifestyle on this investment income. Oh, but can we build a lifestyle on this investment income? Return on investment. I gotta see who is this. I gotta get on. I gotta get on Facebook.
That's Monique.
Who's that? That's Monique. Okay, hold on. I'll post it on here. So, when you say that, type, I guess go a little bit more into detail when you say return on investment. He explained some about your return on investment, but you're saying like build a lifestyle. So you're saying like you want to build a lavish lifestyle on this return on investment, or are you talking about like what is it a certain number that you're speaking of
Yeah.
on your basis, or kind of elaborate a little bit more on that question, Monique? Let me get in here. Let me see. Okay, there we go. Can I see Monique Graham? All right, I'm in here now. Monique Graham. Let me see. But can we? Yeah, Monique, elaborate a little bit more on that question for us. If you're still in the chat. But kind of go into it a little bit, I guess, initially, like any other business, right? You're not going to make a lot of money up front, okay, because you're saying that I may or may not get paid monthly depending on how the company is doing. Well, it depends on which structure, which one of those structures you decide to go with, Monique Graham.
Yeah.
It depends. So if you decide to go with, oh, go ahead, Tia.
Yeah, I think she's talking about if you're doing profit sharing. So profit and revenue sharing. It all depends. So if you're doing profit or revenue sharing, it depends on how the agreement is set up. So what I was just explaining about profit revenue sharing, that is more so like loan based. So creating a lifestyle, it can be, again, knowing how, because you have like angel investors and venture capitalists, this is their lifestyle, that's what they do. So you can create a lifestyle on it once you become good at what you're doing and knowing how to find the right companies and knowing how to vet companies. Yes, you can create a lifestyle for that. So what I'm saying is, when it comes to profit and revenue sharing, it's not that you may not get paid. You're more likely to get your money back, but it depends on the revenue of the company. So basically what I'm saying is, let's say for example, again, if the company is going to pay you 5% interest on your money, on what their revenue is, right? So let's do monthly. If the company is bringing in $50,000 a month, after each month, you're getting 5% of that $50,000, whatever that may be. You're getting 5% of that $50,000. So let's just say January, the company made $50,000. Out of that $50,000, you get 5% of that, right? So let's say February come, that company has a slow month. That is a slow month that for February. So instead of the company making 50,000, they may only make 25,000. That doesn't mean you don't make money. You're still getting your 5%, but that percentage, that total amount is going to be less than what you got January because the revenue was longer, but you still getting paid. So based on the terms, so let's just say you lent $1,000, you gave $1,000 for the company, whatever that may be, they're going to pay you back that $1,000 plus interest. However that may take, it may take a year, or it may take 3 to 5 years. However long it takes, you're still going to get paid a monthly check. It's just the checks may be large or may be small because it's always dependent on the revenue of the company. Now, we would also, to that, I don't know if we mentioned this, but also with Crowd Wall Street, we're not only focusing on businesses. We will eventually have real estate and project development on our platform as well. So when we're talking about Crowd Wall Street, we're living up to that name because now as an investor, again, you're talking about creating a lifestyle. Once we get our platform full-fledged and we have these opportunities for you guys, now you're able to come on our platform. You have many options. You can invest, 10%, of your portfolio into early startups. You can invest another 10% into real estate developments. You can invest another 10% into rental properties. So you can kind of have options to invest where you know some investments going to give you a return on your investment. Some going to give you monthly revenue. So it all depends. And basically, again, every Sunday we're going to go through different trainings where we're going to teach you guys how to vet companies. Even though we're going to vet them, but it's good for you as an investor to know what you're investing in. So we're going to teach you how to invest in startups. We're going to teach you how to do due diligence. We're going to teach you how to read term sheets. We're going to teach you about equity when it comes to in startups, like understanding convertible notes, understanding what a simple agreement for future equity means, understanding the risk factor when investing in early startups. We're also going to educate you on real estate, and teach you how to vet real estate deals, even though they have to go through our vetting first. But like Jamsky said, from an investor standpoint, we're going to give you guys the opportunity when we host our pitch to crowd. We're going to give you guys the opportunity to ask these people any questions you want to ask them. So these entrepreneurs are going to come on our platform. They're going to introduce their business, or if it's a real estate deal, they're going to introduce their real estate deal. You're still able to see it in writing, but now you have the opportunity to talk to these people. And I believe this is a great thing because a lot of times, many of our people are uneducated in this area, and we want to support so bad, but it's like we don't understand it. And we would highly recommend don't invest in anything you don't understand. So we made it our business to educate you guys so you guys could become better investors. Now, on the flip side, as an entrepreneur, again, we're going to help you. We're going to help you raise capital for your business. Even as a real estate developer or a real estate investor, this is another alternative. So, in some cases, you may do wholesale, or you may try to find a hard money lender, or you may go to the bank to get traditional finances for your real estate deal. Well, we're here. This is a great way for you to come on and raise capital as an alternative. And now you're able to raise capital from the crowd. I'm a real estate investor currently. That's dope. That is dope. Again, in the near future, we're going to be having deals on here where you can come on and invest in real estate deals, or vice versa. Once our equity platform is up, you can actually, come on here and post your deals up. There was one guy, not on our platform, but another platform, that raised over $1 million to invest in real estate in Louisiana. Raised over $1 million from the crowd. He didn't go to the bank. He didn't get no hard money loan. He actually went on a crowdfunding platform and raised $1 million, $1.7 million to be exact, to start doing housing developments in Louisiana. I believe it's in Louisiana. So what we're doing is we're bringing the same opportunity for our people, because now you're able to get more funding, more people to back your companies up.
And see what happens too, like a lot of these crowdfunding platforms, and it's not too many of them. This is a fairly new
that look like us.
Yeah. So yeah, that looks like us. But here's the thing. The thing about it is that because of the whole BLM, Black Lives Matter thing, a lot of our white counterparts who have these platforms, they would do something like, oh, we're going to raise a fund and donate the money to this black neighborhood or whatever. And it's kind of like, at the end of the day, they're still benefiting off of our hard work and our money still, right? Because they don't own it. But just because they saying they're going to donate to the Black Lives Matter, whatever it is, then they using that as a way to kind of get in on and make money off of still. Even no matter what the BLM, no matter what that stands for or whatever, it's like they still find a way to cash out on us. Whereas with us, we own this platform. Like, you guys, you got to understand, we're in the process pretty soon to start going through the SEC to roll out these other phases of this platform. So when you're talking about raising $1 million and then raising another campaign and doing another campaign or whatnot, like, we're the owners. You're able to do this on a black owned platform. This is not we're the face of it, and then there's some white guy somewhere that's really like on this platform. Like, no, it's us. You know, you look our company up and stuff like when we follow this, like it's us. This we are the owners of this platform. Understand that. So this is really like buying black in all the meaning of that meaning. Another thing, when we're talking about business, and a lot of people, you talk about return on investment and all that. This is great. However, what one of our things is getting our people to level up on the kind of businesses that we do, or whatever business that we already have established, getting that business to another level, right? So when you think about Mark Zuckerberg, anybody who raised or anybody who invested any if you invested $10,000 or $1,000 in Facebook when it was in its infancy stages, like right now, you're a billionaire, right? But if I just got a barber shop and I'm trying to raise $10,000 for my barber shop, you're right. You're not going to see a return on investment. There isn't going to be a ROI or whatever return. It's not going to be any because it's not bringing in that kind of money. Whether you're doing it through profit sharing or equity, whatever, that ownership is cool. So understanding the sole proprietorship kind of businesses and understanding the businesses that can be scaled tremendously. Like black people can create businesses that could be in the $1 trillion range, just like Jeff Bezos. Who's to say he's any better than us? And this is one of the things I always drive in our lives. We can do the same thing like they're doing. We just have to think on that level and stop thinking mom and pop. So if you try to come on a platform like this and invest in a bunch of mom and pop businesses, but don't expect to get $1 million a year or your investment to turn into a couple of $1 billion. Like Beyonce, Lyft paid her $6 million to perform at a concert. And she said, pay me in private stock, private stock, right? So pre-IPO, and they go IPO, and that $6 million turned into $300 million in 3 years. Well, if we're not creating these kind of businesses that can scale to these kind of levels, well, don't chip out. You can't expect to be a billionaire, multimillionaire overnight. So you got to take the, $1,000 a year, which is good, still passive, that you would get with the kind of businesses that we've been doing. So it's time for us to start doing businesses and thinking on that level, on that magnitude of life and business. Start thinking that if Mark Zuckerberg can do this, I can do this too. Yeah, he's in Stanford and this and that, but if we all work together, because a lot of times we are the driving forces behind those people being where they're at. A lot of times, the owner of Nike, right? They throw one of us in front for the face of that company. The company shoots up, and then they really eating, and then Michael Jordan barely becoming a billionaire, whilst the guy who owns it, he's already a billionaire. You see what I'm saying? So thinking on that level of business. Once we start doing that, now we can start talking about $1 million return on investments and all this other stuff. But in the meantime, between time, if we keep doing businesses the way we've been doing businesses, everybody's doing the same kind of businesses, then I mean, what do you expect? What kind of return on investment do you expect? And this is just me keeping it real. Like this is me keeping it real. We doing the same kind of businesses that we doing. What return on investment are you really expecting?
It's our job. So bringing home what Jansky is saying, it's our job to make sure that our investors are really getting a good ROI on their investment. And we have things that we putting in place for mom and pop shops because we like you said, we understand that they're the backbones of our community, right. And we are putting things in place to help assist them as well. However, when you're talking about market share, when you're talking about building wealth, those are not the vehicles to build wealth. Those are more the vehicles of sustaining a lifestyle. You get it? So, you have different areas. You have a business that's a lifestyle business. In most cases, a lifestyle business is not a scalable company. It's just a business where I'm making money that complements my lifestyle. So think of it like a trainer. If I like to work out and that's my lifestyle is going to the gym, working out, I create a business around it. That's a lifestyle business where I'm not really sacrificing anything. It's just I created a business around something I love to do. What we're trying to target on our platform is scalable companies because we understand that's where the wealth is being built at. We understand that's where you're going to see more of a bang for your buck at, more of a higher ROI. And we understand that a lot of our people, especially with minorities and Black founders, we know we have great ideas, but a lot of times, a lot of our companies don't make it as far because they lack the resources. They don't have access to capital. So they stay small or they end up failing. So now when we created this platform, now you're able to, like Jamsky said in 2 lives ago, I think it was 3 weeks ago. Now, if you're creating this organic soap, the way we're thinking is saying, okay, how can you get this soap into Target or how can you get this soap into Walmart? Now we understand that, with Walmart or Target, they may require you to have a lot of units. So let's just say if you want to get your soap to Target, but they require a minimum of 1,000 units, and that's going to cost you, $20,000. Now you're able to come on Crowd Wall Street and raise that $20,000 to get your soap to Target. And that's what that's where our mind, and that's what we're trying to get our entrepreneurs' mind. That we want to create a business where it's scalable, because now when it's scalable, you can be making 6-7 figures down the road. And I don't know if you've seen the company Snowflake. It's a company called Snowflake. They just went public Wednesday, right?
Oh wow.
Warren Buffett, before they went public, Warren Buffett brought their shares at $120, right?
Okay.
But the moment they went public, the share was at maybe $245, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at that, the average investor who's living on a fixed budget won't have the opportunity to invest in a company like that, right?
Nope.
All the companies from Warren Buffett all the way down to the venture capitalists to the angel investors, they got in early. And when Snowflake went public, these individuals, these companies was cashing out, billions of dollars. But now when the company went public, we get the leftovers. We get the scraps.
People think they're getting the good part, but it's like, nah, this is scraps. Like you still money, but they pay already.
When you think about it, when a company goes public, that's like the end of the end. There's really not that much of a high return when you buy stocks, unless you get it like if the stock go public at a small amount, whether it's like $20, $30 or whatever. But a company like Snowflake, that's it. Like I said, Warren Buffett brought it at $120 and paid out, over $400 million to this company. Like this company is these owners are billionaires. So now when this company went public, we get the scraps. And then at $245, not every investor can buy.
Get a good return on that, right?
Right, because now it's like, okay, with the exception of like Apple, these very few companies like Apple and Tesla, when a company come out at $245, how high can they go?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's
that's rare. That's like what you said with Tesla and Apple. That's
right,
like
it's rare.
It went down. Apple done went down from 130 to 105. Oh no. Oh, I'm feeling that. So yeah, you're right. You got a point, man. Tesla, that's rare. Look at these other stocks that's just kind of coasting that wherever they at.
Yeah, because it's like at 245, that stock may go up to 300 if that, but there's really not a high ROI on that investment. Now, just imagine if you was investing in that company at its early stages, when the company was at $20, $30 before they went public. Now you're seeing a $7,000 to $1,000 return on your equity on a deal like that. And, these are the things we're going to be teaching you guys how to invest in these startups, investing in crowdfunding. Again, get this. This is investing in early stage startup is a high risk.
You may lose all your money.
Because it's at an early stage. It's at an early stage. So it's not, taking your whole savings and pouring it out on one company. If you got $5,000 to spare, you can spread that $5,000 over 20 companies.
You just
You
need
know,
one to hit.
because if you have 5,000, even $1,000, and you invest across 20 companies, one company go public, you could become a millionaire within 7 to 10 years. You can let that sit, get into real estate, get into other things, but this is the asset class that you invest in. And then on top of that, you invested in minorities and black owned businesses
Mm.
where we're circulating the money. So again, like, I don't think you guys understand what Jamsky is saying. Like, we're the owners of this platform, meaning we're going to keep our money in our communities.
Yeah.
It's not going to leave our community and go, somewhere else. So yeah, man. So listen, any last questions? Any last questions? Next week we're going to be talking about risk management. We're going to talk about investment portfolio. We're going to talk about how to diversify your portfolio. Miss Katiana going to go over that next Sunday. So those who are investors or who plan on getting into investing and different asset classes, we're going to do a live training to teach you guys about risk management and how to diversify your portfolio. So if you have any questions before we go, let us know.
Yeah, man. I think we touched on all the topics. The main thing is return on investment. The reason you're investing is to get a return on your investment. That is the reason. Other than that, why am I doing this? Right? It's like, why am I doing this? Yeah, support. That's cool. Yeah, but when we talk about in the business world, you're investing for a return on your investment. That is it. So the greater the company is, and the more scalability that a company can provide in the future, the better, and the higher that ROI is going to be. And that's all that's just the point we're trying to make. But with the mom and pop businesses, we have things in place to show them love, giveaways and different little events and things that we're gonna put together for the mom and pop shops. But the main focus of this is to take minority companies and take it. We need more minority billionaires, right? Like everybody's not gonna be in it for all this sports and all that stuff like that. We need more people that's like us that we know from the out the mud, and they came up with a great, amazing idea. And this idea was so great that they got people to invest in this idea and then scale this idea to $1 billion idea or to $1 billion dream conglomerate. This is what we need more of. We need our kids, our youth to see that it's more ways to get it than just 4 or 5 that we grew up seeing. There's other ways, So that's just kind of like the premises and the reason why, we came up with Crowd Wall Street. They can play the game, we can play the same game. You know what I'm saying? and the game they played is based off the works of our people, our backs. So why not do it ourselves if that's gonna happen? Like we gotta put the work in anyway, so why not put the work in for ourselves?
Definitely.
Wall Street is gonna provide opportunity for you guys to say that, oh, you see that company? Oh yeah, I remember they was on Crowd Wall Street. Yeah, I bought a couple of I invested in that company before they went IPO or before they got bought out by a private equity firm. Because private equity firms also buy companies. You found hedge funds. Hedge funds, who trade stocks, they put a lot of money into a lot of some, not necessarily startups, but into companies that's a little bit more established and grow those grow those companies. So there's so many ways that you can, so many exit strategies that you can put together with this game. It's so many mergers and acquisitions, right? Let's say somebody invests in your company, and now your company is doing so well that you can buy another company that complements what your company do. Or maybe you can buy your competitor out, right?
They ain't ready for that yet.
Man, listen. So let's start indulging in companies or coming up with ideas of things that can be life changing. Something that can be and it don't have to be nothing crazy. You think about what is the one? Is it not Zoom? Well, Zoom is one. Zoom is doing extremely well, but it's another one. DocuSign, right? Who would have thought that something like DocuSign could be what it is? It's like that is so simple. A digital signature type company, right? It's like wow. So now imagine somebody else. Okay, they're out. and let's say DocuSign is doing 10 billion a year in revenue. Well, if somebody else create another platform that's like that, and we all say we're gonna take the black dollar and invest in that company, well, maybe they don't do 10 billion, but maybe they might do $5-6 billion, right? We
But
still good. You know, like it's like it's insane, man. It's insane. The opportunities are endless when it comes to business. Real estate is great. I love real estate. It's great. We're going to provide real estate investment opportunities on our platform, but we want you to understand that business. You can't take a $300,000 house and sell it for $10 million. You can do that with a business. You can buy a $300,000 business, buy other businesses that complement it, get your competitors, or hire the chief marketing staff from this company and bring them over and scale. You can scale a business to whatever you want to scale it. All these businesses didn't start out as billion-dollar businesses. They started out as mom and pops, but these mom and pops were mom and pop businesses that were able to be scaled to that level. So, crowdwallstreet.com, Crowd Wall Street Group on Facebook, Crowd Wall Street on Instagram. You're speaking to the founders, TL, CEO Jay French. You will find us on Crowd Wall Street platforms on Instagram and Facebook if you want to chat with us or whatever. Feel free to share this. And well, go ahead, TL. You want to close it out with anything else?
that's it. You said it. That's it.
That's it. Well, you guys, thanks for joining us. We're going to upload this on YouTube every Wednesday and Sunday. We're going to be bringing you guys content Wednesday, Founder Wednesdays. We're going to have founders on our platform, kind of talk about what it is they do and how they got into whatever it is that they do. And on Sundays, it's more or less about education and educating you guys on the crowdfunding industry, which is more or less a new industry, and the different benefits and perks of it. And yeah, that is all we have for you guys today. CEO Jay French, we got TL. Yeah, we out, man.
We out.